Hello, everyone, and welcome to Popcast on the Rocks. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture things, and sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I am joined, as always, by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. Happy Hump Day and happy Star Wars Day to you.
Yeah, may the fourth be with you always.
Aw,
Um,
thanks for adding that always.
yes, we've talked about Star Wars a lot in this podcast,
Mhm.
and we've had our ups and downs.
Yeah,
We
there was
will
a
talk
time
about it some
where,
more.
man, we had such a streak going that we mentioned it every episode.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty lengthy too.
Mhm. I mean, it's close to how we started our podcast 2 years ago. Like, it was, you know, there's a lot of Star Wars talk. One of our first big episodes was Star Wars too, so, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I have a cough, and so I apologize if I cough. I will try to mute myself, you know? If I have a different sounding voice, that's why.
How
So,
dare you? How dare
yeah,
you be susceptible to human illness?
yep,
Rise above. You are a podcast host.
that's
You
true.
cannot be taken down by such things.
It's interesting. My cough drops actually say little, like, kind of encouraging things.
Aw, cute.
Tough is your middle name, says one. Uh, don't try harder, do harder. Um,
Wow.
Stuff like the show must go on and work,
There
you
you
know, so
go.
that, yeah.
There you go. That's relevant.
So,
And
mhm.
these are like the Dove candy wrappers of the cough drop world,
Yeah,
just, you know,
right.
inspiring you to fight on.
Mm, mhm. I wasn't gonna make it through my day, and then I read my cough drop wrapper. So
That's what they're
there
there
it
for.
is. Yep. Well, today's episode, yes, we will be talking Star Wars, a little bit, a few different questions to ask ourselves about the
Mhm.
topic, and mostly news then in the entertainment space.
Mhm.
We'll see what discussions we get into. No spoiler segment, though, this time. That's going to be later in the week slash next week for Moon Knight. So
Mhm.
no worries there. Before we get to all that, drink holidays.
Yes, yes. We are today, of course, on the cusp of a drink holiday. Not quite there, but tomorrow it is Cinco de Mayo, along with, I just learned, as you said, May the 6th.
Yeah.
Instead of May the 5th. I love that. I'm absolutely using that in some way, shape, or form tomorrow. So,
Nice.
look out world. Most likely look out Chris because that's who I'll talk to.
Yep.
But yeah, it's happening. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. And then to close out the month of April on April 30th, it was Bubble Tea Day, which I know you celebrated.
I did.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, are you partaking in either of these holidays?
I am. I am. Some amazing person gave me a bottle of my favorite tequila, Terramana, from one of my favorite people, if not my favorite person. Shh, Chris isn't listening. The Rock. So I am having a margarita to celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
All right. Well, salute, because I have a shot of Termana
Shut
as well.
up. I should have
Yep.
ran and got a shot. We should be doing shots on this Wednesday night
I know,
podcast.
right? Yep. What a way
Dang.
to, yeah, for Hump Day, Cinco de Mayo. So,
Well, cheers.
salute.
Take it down.
That's like cough syrup, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fix it
The
up.
alcohol. Yeah.
Hmm.
Just clears it all out. Just swirls it all around, washes
Yep.
it away.
I saw, but I'm doing a double timer here because I've got some bubble
Ooh.
tea.
Look at you, bubble tea. Nice
S-
job.
So it didn't go exactly as planned. Our tapioca pearls went bad, unfortunately.
Oh,
I
bummer.
didn't know they would necessarily. I'm like, oh, then maybe they'll
Yeah.
keep forever, basically. But
That's
nope.
another thing I would have thought, like, boy, there's an expiration date. I have to hurry.
Right,
Hmm.
right.
Interesting.
So, but I do have popping boba in here. So this is
Popping boba.
tea and coconut milk and popping boba.
Okay. Is
I
that
forget
like
the
pop
flavor. It's
rocks, but boba?
no, 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 no. let me
Yeah, I
inform
don't
you,
know this. I
Andrea,
don't
of
know
this.
this.
Yes. So if you get boba, traditionally you have it's tapioca pearls. That's
Yeah.
what you get. But popping boba is usually fruit flavored. You get them if you usually smaller size. If you go to like one of those custom topping ice cream places, they'll
Mm.
often have a thing of
Oh,
like
oh,
some
oh.
syrup and
Totally,
they
like Yogurt
burst.
Lab?
Yeah, yeah. You go to like one
Yeah,
of those. Yep.
absolutely. Okay, yes,
So
yes.
that's what
I
this
know
is.
exactly what you're talking about now. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. All that came to my mind was, like, it's boba, but filled with, like, Pop Rocks, maybe? I don't know, like,
Yeah.
which could be very interesting.
Mhm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I get you now.
So yeah, we got the bases covered for the drink holidays.
Nice, crushing it.
I'm glad you put bubble tea day in there as well because it's obviously not an alcoholic drink day, but
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't always have to be, so
Hmm. Yep. All right. It's been a little longer than typical. So how's your week been?
Oh, as you know, I've been playing nursemaid to my sick baby who unfortunately has just caught a round of high fevers that we first thought was teething and now is just, we've gone to the doctor and gotten the generic viral infection, which
Yep.
we've gotten this as a diagnosis. Like, I shouldn't be surprised. We've gotten this so many times before. And I know, like, practicing medicine with children is such a guesswork game because
Yeah.
they turn on a dime.
Mhm.
That things just pop up so fast. But yeah, so I have been unfortunately taking care of a poor sick babe, which has meant that I have not really gotten to watch many of the shows that I typically like to watch. But I have been sticking to more kid friendly fare. So for this week, I watched both Cars and Cars 2 for the
All
first
right.
time.
Okay.
I hadn't
Yeah.
seen them before, but Everett is absolutely in love with cars in real life. So I thought, like, hey, put some cartoon cars on the screen,
Yeah.
big windshield eye faces and bright colors. And as predicted, she totally flipped for it. I did not, however, predict how much she was going to lose her mind. And it was pretty adorable to like watch her eyes just be like, and then, yeah, just point at the TV every 5 seconds. Ka, ka, ka. So,
You it's gonna be she's gonna be really disappointed when she gets into the car now and it
right.
doesn't talk
Doesn't
or
talk to
anything.
her or
Yeah.
just yeah,
You guys
yep.
drive really at leisurely pace.
Right, right. Yeah, the voice from the dashboard is an Owen Wilson saying,
Right.
like, all of Lightning McQueen's catchphrases, "Ka-chow," which I now know, thank you, obviously, as I have demonstrated.
Wow. I yeah, I wouldn't have known.
It's okay, I did not know before these movies, and now I'm well-versed, in the world of cars, so
Here, Alan posted in the chat. I am speed. Ka-chug.
yep, yep. That's how
Yeah.
he starts every race. Speed. I am speed. So
Huh.
it's very cute. They're very fun, kid friendly, obviously made for kids, kid friendly movies. So but there's still like decent plots. You don't have to like
Is
completely tune out as an adult.
is there a car at the line next to him that just mutters, "I take speed. I take lots of speed. I take speed."
That would definitely
But
be an
he's
adult joke for that movie.
he's,
I
like, just
wish.
extra wired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Take all of the speed. um Yeah, no, that'd be a good adult joke, but no, sadly. They kept it kid friendly.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that was definitely a part of my week. Other parts of my week have been eaten up um by the wonderful weather that Minnesota has been having. So I've gotten
Yeah.
outside to go walking. I had my first softball game last night. And I had my first sand volleyball game last or tonight. Ooh boy, doing that thing where time gets away from me. Um, and that sand volleyball was the first game I've played in 2.5 years outside. So
Okay.
that was fun to get back to.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect day like you say, perfect day for it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the kind of weather I love playing in, like 60s, very light, gentle breeze, not powerfully, intensely sunny. Yeah, just couldn't ask for better.
Now you just have to work on that running to the ball before it starts heading in that direction,
Indeed.
being in sand, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, we,
Yep.
I should borrow some of Lightning McQueen's speed and just
Mhm.
tell myself before each volleyball game, "Speed, I am speed."
Some
Um,
precog, yeah.
yep, exactly, to get myself in the game because,
Mhm.
yeah, learned just how slow I am and just how different sand volleyball is than, court volleyball tonight, so
Yeah. Mhm.
but we still won, so it's okay. I didn't bring our
Excellent.
whole team down, but yeah, something to work
Right.
on for sure. In adult entertain not adult entertainment, but woo, oh boy. I was gonna say in adult
That's a new
entertainment
segment.
things.
It's a new segment. Mhm.
Oh
Starting
boy.
it now.
That's right,
This
that's
week
right.
in hentai or something.
I could say something here, but let's leave it.
That's your call, yep.
No, in more grown up
Mm,
fare that I've consumed this week. I closed out one of my favorite webtoons, had its series finale, The Wolfman of Wulvershire. Kind of maybe the author set it up for a spin-off, which would be really
okay.
fun. But if not, it ended simultaneously satisfying conclusion, but also kind of a cliffhanger that was intriguing, but not so big that like I would be mad if there weren't any more. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
some things try to like leave you with a little mystery or like an ooh, I'm intrigued, and it's too far, it's too much, and you're like, no, 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 I really need to know what happens with that.
yeah.
So this one did a very good job of like satisfyingly wrapping up like the thrust of the main story while also sort of like teasing a little something that maybe could happen.
Well, I really don't generally don't like stories that do this sort of, instead of letting you wonder at all, they just really wrap all of it up. You know,
Yeah, like
especially things
it's
that end and then they jump ahead and
yeah,
then explain what happened. It's like, oh, where's my use of imagination for what might occur now? You want to leave your audience wanting a little more,
sure.
knowing that the world continues on. And what will that be exactly? So, like, you'd love to potentially see a sequel, but you're okay that they don't
Right.
because it's that perfect balance.
Yeah, yeah, this was very much that, the perfect balance of, like, we wrapped up the main storyline, in a very satisfying, there's no continuing this part kind of way, but there's, like, a side something else that could, like, maybe or maybe not happen. I would be okay either way.
Okay. Did you
Um,
see
I
in
was just
chat?
gonna oh, did I see in chat, Dwayne Johnson, birthday May
Yeah,
2nd? I
yeah,
did.
yeah. So
Also,
happy
because
belated
it's
birthday.
May as 90s babies, um, I have been seeing this everywhere, and I am so satisfied by it. I love it. It can never happen enough for me. Justin Timberlake. Do you
What
know
about
that?
him? What about him?
Do you I mean,
Oh,
you know NSYNC,
it's
right?
gonna be May. It's gonna be
It's
May.
gonna be May.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. Like, it is so satisfying. I don't know why. I can never see that enough.
Yep, that definitely came up last week.
Yep.
Yep.
It was
Mhm.
everywhere. TikTok, Reels, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
I actually didn't see
People
it
do their own
online. I
versions
saw it
of
in
it.
person.
Oh,
Just
really?
yeah, just like talking to people at the gym and stuff. It came up.
And they were just
It's
saying
gonna be
that?
May. Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But,
Interesting. No, I kinda saw it all over different platforms, people doing their own, like, reenactments and interpretations, some very funny and original and some, falling short of the mark
mhm.
as, can happen with any trend.
Wait,
Um,
so you're on TikTok?
yeah.
Well, you got to get our podcast on there
I know. I'm
and
I'm I'm
talk
dipping
and
a
tick
toe
for
into
us.
TikTok to figure it out. So
Okay.
eventually the goal is to get us there. But yeah, I definitely kind of want to get the hang of it first before I jump
Okay.
into anything.
I, yeah, I was thinking about it the other day. I just don't want it on my main phone. Like
Sure.
I just I don't know. I am a happier person, generally speaking, when I just have my phone around less. And
Yeah.
so I just need one less thing to have there. I don't want another thing. And so I don't know. But yeah, everybody says it's still a good growing platform. But I don't know. You gotta sit there and be clever on things. I don't know. Sit and be
Yes.
clever. Okay.
I mean, and I mean, any social media, especially like
Benefits from.
promotion social media is,
Yeah.
you got to be clever with something, whether it's your hashtags or captions or the
Mhm.
actual content itself, whatever it
Mhm.
is. Yeah.
I feel weird doing YouTube Shorts already. Sitting outside a theater, doing a quick review or whatever. Still feel weird doing that. So I don't know.
Yeah. I get that. Like, um, it's funny. I used to watch theater shows that I was in, and it was really hard to watch myself, or it was really hard to listen
Mm.
to myself
Hmm.
and just not think, "Oh my gosh, that's
Right.
what I sound like, or that's what I looked like in that moment." That is not what I thought it was at all.
Hmm.
So social media is sometimes an amplification of that, and sometimes it's, well, I get to pick and choose
Yeah.
because you approve it before it gets uploaded or whatever. But it is still hard sometimes to listen to myself and think, "Oh boy, that's what that is."
I feel like I'm over that because I got over that in college and then wasn't on anything for a long time.
Sure.
So then it was a readjustment again. Now I feel like I'm pretty much over that. It's just more of a like we sit down here and we have conversations because it's fun, talk about things we like or whatever or don't like. And
Yeah.
and
Definitely make sure to include that.
yeah, but to be like just here's this little snippet, like
Mm,
this is what I think. It's as a kind of promotional things like no one what do you why do I
mm,
think someone cares, kind of element. So that's what I
sure.
was, you know. So, but
See,
I'll
that's
keep doing
funny.
them.
That's funny that you struggle with that. I struggle with being overly wordy. So I
Mm.
don't know that I could ever make a short because I would never make the time.
Yeah,
I'd be halfway
they
through my first thought and
mhm.
it would be like, "No, no, you're done." Like, "No, I'm not."
I don't think you struggle with being more wordy than I do either. As I sit and chatter on forever and stuff. So, but when you have that time limit when you're doing a short,
Yeah,
it's like it's right
feeling the
there.
pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I'm glad you got some things done, despite the circumstances.
Yes.
Things
Oh, and I
sound
do
fun.
yeah, I do wanna mention, speaking of fun, I do wanna mention Chris and I jumped back into a show that we had started a long, long time ago, and we were in the mood the other night to watch something funny, and we are like, "You know what we started and forgot about is the show Ghosts on CBS, with Rose
Mm.
McIver as the lead," and oh boy,
Rose McGyver.
McIver, like
Okay.
MCIVER. She was the
Okay.
lead on the CW series iZombie. Um,
Oh, okay.
Probably one of her most well known. She's also the lead in a very beloved, terrible trilogy of Hallmark movies about like Christmas movies about like finding a prince and Prince
Mm,
something.
okay.
And there's like a wedding edition and a baby edition, and they're truly terrible, but they kind of got very quick cult status
Sure.
because they are so bad that like they just
Mhm.
sort of embraced the bad, and everybody started being like, "Oh my god, it's so bad, it's good." Um, but yeah, so she is one of the stars of that, and I am going to say his name wrong terribly. I think it's Utkarsh Ambudkar. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Apologies to everybody in the entire world for butchering that, I'm sure.
Wow.
But they play a
A lot of people.
couple. I know. um, they play a couple who has inherited an estate that they're going to turn into a bed and breakfast. And this estate is haunted by a number of ghosts of people who have died there. And Rose McIver dies for just a few seconds and then wakes up and can see the ghosts and
Okay.
communicate with them because she died. So there's a very, hilarious hijinks of like going through the different ghost personalities, things that, the ghosts do to help and to hinder them opening up their bed and breakfast. The most recent episode we watched dealt with one of the ghosts. possessing Rose McIver's husband, and he absolutely crushed it playing this like both versions of himself and also this very haughty, uptight Victorian lady. Just nailed it. It was really great. Um, so we aren't finished with season 1 yet, but we will be soon. And I did see that CBS ordered a season 2, which I'm very, very happy about because this is uh like a delightful little sitcom that is not just like a generic like, oh, they're ordering another one
Mhm.
of, family sitcom, haha. This is
Right.
good. This is really good writing, very good storytelling, and some great actors. So
Okay.
I'm happy about this show. And
I
it is a
remember
gem.
that
I
being
forgot about
advertised
it.
now. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like, being you're talking about it and you're talking about, generic TV shows and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just gonna bring it up now, bring a little news in quick. Um, that
Do it.
90s show.
Yes. Oh my god. I was
So,
shocked.
we had that 70s show.
Yes.
Um,
Which I did
Cast
watch.
is
Did you?
coming back. A lot of it, yeah, I've seen.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how much of it. I feel like I'm probably
Sure.
behind a lot, but I watched it plenty, I guess, to understand it.
Yeah, I think,
Um,
I don't think
so
I ever, like, sat down and, like, knew I was watching, like, this is
certain
a season I
episodes
am
and yeah,
watching, front to
right.
back. I you just watched whatever episode was on
Yes.
and sorta got a generic feel
How
of, like
sitcoms should be consumed.
yeah.
I mean, just
You sorta
like
got, like, a feel of, like, "Oh, this is early, this is later, who's dating
yes,
who," so I can tell.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, Cast is coming back for that 90s show. I don't know anything
Mhm.
else about it,
Yes.
other than I mean, now Ashton Kutcher and, Mila Kunis are gonna have to work together again. I don't know if they're used to doing that now that they're been married for quite a while.
Right. That should be interesting.
Mhm. But,
Um,
yeah, you excited? Sounds like you're
I
excited.
I kind of am. I really loved that '70s show, and I think the writers will not make a mistake of, like this won't be like um did you ever see Boy Meets World when you
A
were a
little only a
kid?
little bit, only a little
Okay.
bit.
So they did, now an update called Girl Meets World where it's, like, Corey and Topanga's kid, and she goes through all of, like, the
Right,
trials and tribulations of high school, and, like, nobody cared.
right.
Like, nobody cared about this. I think, like, the writing was so sharp and funny and, like, barbed on that '70s show that this could be, like, an awesome gem of a show if we don't worry too much about nostalgia. Like, bring some stuff back, but don't get, like, too hung up on nostalgia being the focus. Like, be funny.
Sure.
Like, these characters are awesome, fleshed out characters. These are good actors.
Mhm.
I'm so excited that Red and Kitty
Yeah.
Foreman are back. Like, they make the show. They are amazing. So, yeah, I want some
I can
more.
hear her laugh in my head right
I
now.
know. Deborah Jo Rupp, yeah. She's got the laugh, man. She's got one of those, like, Janice from Friends, like,
Yep.
distinctive
Not that annoying
tones.
though, but yes.
No, no,
Mhm.
no,
I know
no,
what
it's
you're
just
saying.
you
Mhm.
hear it and you're like, "In my mind, I got it, like, I
Yep.
know exactly how you sound."
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. I think it'll be good fun. Um, Obviously, the one notable exception in the cast is, Danny Masterson will not be returning as Hyde as he's in the midst of, like, figuring out, battling, potentially right now, some assault allegations.
Okay. Okay. Didn't
So
know that.
I
I heard someone say, like, he wasn't involved, but I for obvious
Yes.
reasons, but I didn't know what those obvious reasons were.
Yes, so he's been accused. I think he's denied, and they're in court right now trying to figure that out. I have no details or information on the legitimacy of claims, what his side or his accuser's side might be. So only bringing it up just to say, um, I'm sad that the character of Hyde will not be there, but
Right.
I'm glad in the sense that they're not trying to do what that '70s show mistakenly did in its final seasons and tried to, like, replace Eric. I'm glad
Mm,
that so far it seems we're not getting, like, a replacement Hyde. Don't do
okay,
that.
right.
Just back away and don't talk about it.
Yep. Leave it open if you can, so if there's a
Yeah.
potential for a return or something, it could
Yeah,
be
yeah,
there.
I mean, I obviously don't know how all of that will go,
Yep,
and even if he is cleared of allegations or, that they're proven false, that they are necessarily thinking he would come back, but
right.
just don't try to, like, get in there, just kind of make an excuse for why he's not there and move on.
Yeah, that's a good point to not, like, maybe worry about nostalgia too much. It's hard to say, like, exactly because, like, we sit here watching that '70s show, understanding some history of the '70s and then largely caricature. And so that we get
Sure,
that '70s show and we see a caricature of the '70s,
sure.
and so you do play off of those things that might be more known, the time might be no more known for. Well, we're very familiar with the '90s. Now, of course, the memory is a tricky thing,
Right.
and that we
Can be hazy.
yeah, and we often it's very selective when we recall the good things,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So I don't know. It will be interesting to be brought to then, and yeah, how much will they lean on that nostalgia
Mhm.
versus how much will they go for authenticity?
Right.
Because a lot of
Does
times, I mean, you watch things from the '80s, even like we watched,
Yeah.
what we just watch, Physical, the Rose
Yeah.
Byrne, and it's like, a lot of times, if you look at pictures, you look at your family photos and stuff from different generations and stuff, a lot of it is like, it's just not the same heightened kind of image we get.
Yeah.
Hollywood likes to create an image of a decade, of a time, or whatever, and that sort of creates this, like, second world in our minds that over time like swallows up the
The real.
actuality of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now when we think '80s, we think of Miami Vice or something. And when we think of the '50s, we think of Mad Men or something.
Yep.
It's like these aren't real. These are
Right.
caricatures of the
Right.
moment.
There are elements here, but this is
Yeah.
this is not like factual, like every detail is
Right.
what it is. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited about it. It kind of makes me feel a little bit old to know that like that '90s show is
That's
happening
the
and it's like
throwback now.
nostalgia and it's like, oh boy, well, that's my actual childhood. Thank you. I didn't think it was that far away, but
Yeah.
um but I just got to accept and, you know, like I said, hope they do a good job.
I feel like we're in that age bracket where people start coming to terms with their age. Like coming to terms that you're not a kid anymore.
Mhm.
And before you know it, you're gonna be old. So it,
Yeah.
I don't know.
My daughter cannot talk yet, but I'm sure one of the early things will be, "Oh my god, you're so old." 'Cause that's classic kids. "How
uh,
old do you think I am?"
yeah, you're like
78
20. Oh, I was gonna
billion.
say they think you're like 20 because that's like super old to them or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. No, it's whatever age, but they could say, like, 7, and
yeah,
they would just be like, "That's super old." And
yeah.
you're like, "Cool."
Mhm. Yep. Well, anyways, yes, that '90s show is announced, and we'll see how that goes.
Indeed.
Um, I didn't watch really any sitcoms or anything relevant to that '90s show or that '70s show, I guess.
You
So I
watched
don't
a
have a
'90s show, though,
You're right. Oh,
episode
yeah.
3,
Yeah. Of Buffy, yes.
Buffy the Vampire
Mhm, Buffy.
Slayer.
Yeah, I don't know what prompted me, I guess, I just was sitting there and it's like, "Oh, I could hammer out one more of these."
Yes, you can.
So,
What's episode 3? Is it Teacher's Pet?
it's, cheerleading. It's about cheerleading.
The Witch!
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, I love that one.
So, yeah, it
It's
was
such a
it
it's
was
such a
good.
great blend of the supernatural and, like, normal high school stuff.
it's funny when I watch this show, I'm always seeing you now. I'm like seeing you as a high
I'm
schooler
Buffy?
watching this show, and
Okay.
I'm just like I'm seeing you like, imprint on the character, and I'm just
Sure.
imagining you like seeking out her outfits
I
and like
did.
just, and so I'm always
Absolutely.
thinking about that as I'm watching it. It's like how critical was this to like the development of Andrea?
Critical. Very critical. Especially as you keep going and the seasons get better.
Okay. Yeah.
Truly.
So yeah, that's a fun
I
added
I
element of me watching it.
yeah, I definitely picked up some witticisms from Buffy and would use them in everyday life. To greater and lesser effect for, people who knew the show, for people who didn't.
Mhm.
Um some of them I think are funny regardless and don't need the context, but some of them definitely do.
It's just funny how it's amazing how, pop culture can affect us, in different ways. Like it really is
Mhm.
an important thing and what we're, it's like we had friends that weren't allowed to watch Power Rangers,
Sure.
and that was, sad to me or whatever, but I if that's what the parent thinks, it does have an impact,
Yeah. Yeah,
doesn't
it's funny. My parents let me watch, things like WWF wrestling and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons. So
right.
that was a reference I was missing for a very long time.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
and it's interesting to think like where my parents' lines were.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
was the WWF and Buffy really any better than The Simpsons? Like why here? Why that line in the sand? But it was.
Yeah. I mean, The Simpsons really does feel like it's written for someone like a, blue collar worker that comes home and
Yeah.
cracks open a cheap can of beer and watches something before bed. I feel like that's who it's aimed at.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
probably wasn't the show's exact audience or anything, but
right,
I don't know that my parents
obviously it was
made.
a broad audience because
Right.
it was successful,
But
but
yeah, it's funny that, like, I mean, I'm sure that wasn't my parents' reasoning. I'm sure it
mhm.
was, "Oh, we heard it's terrible and, makes bad jokes and language and,
Yeah,
content some." There must have been something behind it, but I don't know that it was any
it's interesting
worse.
when
Not
those
something like
things are
South Park.
right,
Like, that's
right.
a show I'm sure parents easily were like, "No, no, no."
Mhm. It's interesting and it'll be interesting to see how you go
So,
as a parent,
yeah, exactly.
what's an actual informed decision or not. Like, I feel like now
Right,
I think that we're able to make a more informed decision more easily, but when
right,
will we get to that point where, you're a grandparent walking into a store wanting to buy the newest Zelda for their kid that only has a PlayStation or what,
right.
like, it's just the things you just don't know. So like when every
Absolutely.
video game is Grand Theft Auto and every, Simpsons kind of cartoon is South Park or,
Yep,
whatever.
yep,
Yeah. Like you say, is it just something you heard? I heard that's bad, or
right,
you actually know what the content is and disapprove?
right, right, yeah, what's kind of like a reflexive ban,
Yeah.
um, and what's like, yeah, actually informed. It'll
Yep.
be interesting. I
Yep.
I know lines in the sand I would probably draw based on content I actually do know, but yeah, I have no idea what I would do about content I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, Buffy, got another episode of that.
Yes.
Finished Arcane finally, very behind,
Yes!
but I did finish
Double
that.
good news.
So we'll be talking about that at some point soon here, probably. Um, Reading some more manga and
Mhm.
manhwa being the Korean term for comics, as opposed
Okay.
to manga for
Sure.
Japanese. And then being at Star Wars Day, I played a little bit of Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer.
Nice.
and I've been listening to the Star Wars soundtracks a little bit. So
Nice. Good
yeah,
stuff.
hmm yep, all kinds of fun things. And on the Star Wars note, might as well start our celebration. Star Wars Day it is.
Cheers.
Talked about it up top. Yeah, right. I resisted the urge to make my milk blue or something stupid. So
Ooh, is that your
um,
color?
no, not necessarily. It just Luke drinks from the teat of something, blue milk, I believe.
Yes. That is
hmm
very true.
So I purposely didn't do that. Um, yeah. So we've talked on this show about our favorite Star Wars films, like in what order we put them, in what order
Mhm.
we encourage to watch them,
Mhm.
and like if anyone says that my mind can't be changed, I mean, I have proof, that I'm perfectly okay now with people watching it chronologically. So
One of
I know.
us. One of us.
I still know which way I would do, but I'm perfectly understanding of either or.
Right.
So,
You see the value, both
mhm.
sides.
Yes. We have talked about the state of Star Wars, which we can
Mhm.
certainly get into if you want. But some of the things that we haven't mentioned before, really, just like little minutia.
Little
Um,
nuggets.
yeah, like our favorite characters, vehicles. Pete had asked me not long ago what lightsaber color I would choose, or something, or I don't know. He brought up something about lightsaber
Yeah,
color. So
I think
yeah,
so. I think you did. Um, have you made your own? I know you can do that.
yes.
You
I
have
mean, well, not not like they do at,
at Disney,
yeah, I have a nice lightsaber that I chose that it's
but you
Qui-Gon
you
Jinn's.
created.
No, it's not, I shouldn't say it, it's not unique to
Okay.
me, so it's Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Very cool.
I you know, I've created one in, one Star Wars game, and that's kinda fun. You can swap the parts out and stuff, pick the color and all that, and that's a lot of fun, but,
What
yeah.
did you pick?
Well, I don't know. It's a fun customization option. So as you go through the game, you unlock different parts, and they kind of have backgrounds to different pieces. Like if one's part from the Guardian lightsaber, or it's I don't know. I don't remember what they all were, but and you can mix and match them then to kind of really
Sure.
make your own. You want like sort of a leather grip on there? Do you want it whatever?
I
And then
would.
yeah, you can put different. Yeah,
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 I'd
get
want a
that
leather grip.
nice feel.
Yeah, I would. I'm not gonna lie. More like I
Well,
wouldn't want it to, like, fly out of my hand as I'm
yeah,
doing you know what I mean?
right.
Like, it would literally be practicality. I would worry
hmm
about that all the time.
But you have the Force,
I
so
know, so I can bring it back, but, like,
yeah,
what if I'm wasting valuable seconds?
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, well, I mean, start there, like color. Not taking any consideration to, I mean, unless you want to, but the way I usually think of it is any sort of meaning that would potentially exist with a color.
Mhm.
Like, oh, red is
Evil.
Sith or evil.
Yeah.
Like just what color would you like to have as a lightsaber? It's part of you.
I mean,
Of the
if we're
pre-existing colors that exist in canon
yes.
or expanding universe.
Yes. No, I totally get you. Um, I feel like I thought for a hot second that Rey's, like, yellow golden lightsaber was cool. It was unique, but I still liked it.
She makes
But
a yellow golden one?
right at the very end of Rise of
Okay,
Skywalker.
didn't remember that. Okay.
Okay. It's okay. Oh, oh, resist the urge to go into anything in that movie. Um, so yeah, so for like a hot second I thought like unique, but I still like the color. It's interesting. But I think I'm gonna stick with my tried and true, which is green.
Okay,
Yep. I
alright.
love the color green. It's one of my absolute favorite colors. If I could have like any color ever, I feel like black would be really fun.
Well, the dark
I
saber.
I think, yeah. It'd
Dark
be
saber's kinda black and kinda black
Yeah,
and white.
I would dig that. Um, but yeah, probably green.
Okay. Yeah, I would choose green as well,
Mhm.
actually. So we're sympathetically here. I just think it looks great
Mhm.
as it's so so vibrant in the sense
Yes.
of
That's
it's
literally the word I was
glowing
thinking
white.
of too.
Yeah, it really pops. So
Mhm.
um, I
However,
like. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, however, I wouldn't choose this, but I like that this happened. I love that Samuel L. Jackson, Mace Windu, has a purple lightsaber. I love
Yes,
that for him because he's just
yes,
Samuel L. and deserves like uniqueness and was like, no, I'm gonna have this
yeah.
awesome different thing create a purple lightsaber for me. Great, awesome,
Hmm.
love that for you. I would never choose it, and I wouldn't want anybody else to have it.
Yep. So Alan mentions. So that was the game I was talking about where he customized one. It's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and he says there he always had white or cyan
Cyan.
for blade.
Oh,
So
all right. I totally see you with a white one. I'm
yeah,
having trouble with cyan.
yeah.
Like, I would have to
I
see
see
it.
that.
I can see it, but I can't quite see it.
Hmm.
Also, cyan, I'm so sorry. Cyan makes me think of printers, and they're out of, like, cyan ink, and you're like, "I've never used cyan ink in my entire life. How are you out of this?" Sorry, it's the real world
Use it all the time. It's
barging in
just
on Star Wars.
RGB. It's a blue. Yes.
I know, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. You're like, "How is this happening right now?"
Oh, sorry. Alan corrects me as CMYK, right? Print format, color
Yep,
spectrum. Yes. Okay.
yep.
Um, yeah, it's
Mhm.
I I was introduced to cyan through the game company that made Mist.
Oh,
So
sure. Sure.
that's what that's what I think of when I think of cyan.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
That's
green.
cooler, less, like, depressing adult work life worlds that
Uh-huh.
I went. Let's
I
stick with
print in
yours.
black and white all the time. Why is the
Why
cyan coming?
cyan? Why?
Yeah.
And it's never
Mhm.
magenta or yellow. It's
Mhm.
cyan.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not bitter. It's fine.
Would you pick any sort of lightsaber alteration, like an odd one?
Oh, you mean like Kylo
Like
Ren's got the little
yeah, or a double bladed or a curved hilt like Dooku has, or
Ooh.
like extending like Corran Horn has. He like I think twists it and it
Yeah.
gets longer.
Yeah. Um,
Sort of tricks or gimmicks.
potentially, but I feel like I would be a person who wouldn't I know I wouldn't have a double because
Okay.
I would get myself.
Just stab yourself.
I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not that coordinated, and even after practicing, I feel like I just wouldn't be. Um,
Nunchuck
extensions,
lightsabers.
ooh, that I mean, that again, cool idea, but
Mhm.
absolutely something would go wrong for me,
Yeah,
and I'd
that'd be
just have
bad.
like a slash across the face or something. Yeah, I mean, I would do something cool like an extension or, a little addition after a time having just like a regular lightsaber. I feel like I
Mhm.
would, but it would have to either have a meaning or a purpose. Something I felt like, yes, this is why I have it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't just
sure.
do it to look cool.
Okay. Yeah, I like the lightsaber designs of some of the old Knights of the Republic kind of designs that were so it's not the first lightsabers, but some of the earlier ones. They just
Mhm.
looked a little more I don't know, sharp. They
Yeah.
were
Mhm.
a little more have a little more points at the end, a little
Mhm.
more organic in a way.
Yeah.
I kind of like those designs. I think I'd stick to a regular one though. Um, the the double blading that splits, that is very cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'd stick to a regular one. And having two seems greedy.
Yeah.
Just straight up having two,
So
like
Dooku is like
Ahsoka.
super extra.
Well, Dooku's
He's got
just
like
got the
4.
one. Oh,
When it
wait.
like splits off and he
No, you're
G
thinking
General,
Grievous. Yeah, you're thinking
Grievous, yeah,
Grievous,
sorry, sorry, sorry,
which
sorry, sorry.
he doesn't even count because he's not force sensitive. Get out of here
Exactly.
with those lightsabers.
With those
So
4.
That's why I always would have like if I was building one, I'd want to make an internal switch to trigger the activation of the lightsaber. So if you weren't a force user, you couldn't turn it on. You'd
Sure.
flip it on inside. So yeah.
That kinda makes me think of, like, uh, Bond's handprint gun that he
Yeah.
gets in the newer movie, you know? Like,
Hmm.
"Sorry, can't do
Yep.
anything." Like, that's a
Yep.
great idea.
Hmm. They make those, yeah.
Yeah.
Um Character. Do you have a standout character or couple
Oh.
characters or something?
I mean, yeah, I do. When I was a kid, again, nerd cool that I was,
Hmm. Hmm.
Yoda, always talked like Yoda.
Okay. Yeah.
Even if it wasn't in his voice, I enjoyed the linguistic challenge of, reordering
Backwards.
your sentences.
Hmm.
Um, so that was always, that was always fun for me, and therefore by extension, I liked Yoda quite a bit. Even in the newer where he's going up against
Just jumping around.
Palpatine,
Hmm.
just jumping around, being all cool, badass. It was kind of fun just to be like, yeah, Yoda got a moment. Um, so yeah, Yoda's definitely been one of my favorites. Um, I mean, I really liked Han Solo, but I was never, I think, as crazy about him as other girls were. I mean, he was always good looking, but I was never like, oh my God, Harrison Ford, just,
I think there's definitely too if you were in the moment when they're coming out.
yeah.
It's like it is different watching a celebrity in a movie of the past or whatever and in their heyday, and
Mhm.
then watching it now and you see that actor that looks like that showing up to the red carpet events and all the things and is on the
Mhm.
late night show and all the stuff.
Mhm.
It's different. You kind of can get drawn into it more.
Right. Um, gosh, let's see. I wasn't a giant Luke fan either. Um, I really I really like Luke, actually. I like Mark Hamill now more than I like Luke back then because he was so whiny. He was
Mm.
very, like, early Anakin whiny. Um,
But he
sorry,
evolved over the course of
he
his three
did.
films,
He got
like.
better. He got better. Yeah, I I remember a very particular moment, when I was watching A New Hope with a couple drinks to, be clear, and Luke comes upon, I don't know, spoiler alert, the bodies of his aunt and uncle, and, his big reaction is to look at them and then dramatically look down into the sand, and that's, like, all he's got, and I was like,
Mhm.
Okay, we don't have anything else
He was
for
tired
Uncle
of them
Owen and
not
Aunt Beru?"
letting him go to the Tashi station to pick up power converters
That's
and hang out
right.
with Biggs and stuff like that,
Keeping him
so
from
he
living
was
his best
bothered by it.
life.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so I remember I was blurting out, like, I was sort of fed up with Mark Hamill's acting in this film, and uh I was like, I'm just gonna look dramatically at the sand. Maybe it'll have some acting tips. So he was just not a favorite
Mhm,
of mine. He did evolve, you're right.
mhm.
But yeah, early on he was not a great favorite.
Mark
Um
Hamill's never shown great acting chops outside of the Joker,
I was gonna
honestly.
say I really feel like he's so suited for that, but that
He
doesn't really
just
take like
Yeah,
facial acting, you
right, in
know?
animated form, right, yes. Mhm.
I mean that takes
He's good with
great
voices.
range of voice, which is a
Yes.
skill and a talent to be
Mhm.
respected in and of itself. But yeah, that's very different from I have to be in front of a camera. What does my body do?
Yep.
Um, yeah, I do think he got better for sure
Yes.
in the later films. a bright spot perhaps in a low spot of a trilogy.
Oh, his acting performance in the latter yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
yes, yes. I do think it improved quite a bit. I think there were different things asked of him that might have been, a bit easier, but yeah, just saying.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
So Yoda.
Yoda, Chewie, always a favorite of mine. Um, and R2D2. I kind of really love the characters who, you know, had to express themselves. It's like to bring it to modern day terms, it's like Groot. They have to express
Sure.
themselves in a very limited range, but somehow you still get the conveyance of their emotions from them.
Yeah,
So those characters were kind of always my favorite. Um, Character wise, I never really, obviously, as you're not really supposed to, liked Vader, but who doesn't love the voice of James Earl Jones?
sure. Yeah.
So there was always something like tugging me there.
Yeah. Well, Vader's pretty cool. One of the most iconic villains of all
Mhm,
time for sure. And yeah, definitely supposed to love to hate him sort of thing, I
mhm.
suppose. So
Yeah,
yeah, those are good picks, particularly Yoda. I think Yoda's great. Um,
thanks.
I think like comes to my favorite characters. I thought, okay, what better way to like reason to pull out my old
There
Star
you
Wars
go.
essential guide to
There you
characters,
go.
the only detailed, illustrated, comprehensive guide to major and minor characters of the Star Wars universe. Yes,
Excellent.
from like 1995. Um, I colored some of these images in here.
I need to see.
Well, so one of my favorite characters, Eula Keldroma, this
Ooh,
guy.
is this
Yep,
your own coloring work?
yep, this is, yep.
Excellent.
So, he was a Jedi back again in the kind of Knights of the Republic time
Mhm,
frame, 2,000 years before A New Hope,
mhm,
and I always really liked him. There's a great series of comics with him. The art struck me. He was very, like, tormented person. I
mhm,
really liked the, kind of his style that he had,
mhm,
and, yeah, he's always been a big favorite of mine. I was first introduced to him in a comic, and he was kinda getting tortured and stuff, and so he's got a tragic story, and, I went back and forth between him and his wife, Nomi Sunrider. She's really cool as well. So I guess I can go color her yet. She has yet to
there
be
you
colored.
go.
Let's
Oh,
see.
there it is, there it is, there it is.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
mhm. So she's very cool too. Yeah. Too many to pick, I guess. There's a
It's so
lot.
hard.
Yeah. All my most of mine, because I was like sidekicks. I like the other characters. So yeah, I was usually the biggest Luke or Han fan either or whatever. I
Mhm.
was like the different characters, but
I mean, they have
yeah.
fun. They
Oh
got
yeah,
some good
they're
lines, and
critical. They're important.
yeah,
They need to be there. I'm
they're
glad they'll be
iconic.
stars. Yeah, absolutely. I just yeah. So it's been fun to look through this. It's definitely I added in some things where it's like I think it says this one character is Tenel Ka. Um, yeah, it says like weapon of choice. I think it said none at the time, and I
Okay.
wrote in lightsaber because
She gets one.
later, yeah, right. It's like this is not updated. This book's not updated.
Mm,
So yeah,
that's cute.
but yeah. Um, Vehicles.
We already talked about it.
Uh, your favorite vehicle?
Yep, you can hear it screaming.
Oh yes, pre-show Tie Fighter.
Yep.
Yes, for sure.
I mean,
Yes.
if we're going with, like, iconic, obviously, the Millennium Falcon is, like, "Ah, it's so good," like,
Hmm.
who doesn't recognize that? Who doesn't get the reference? Like, it's amazing. Totally. But I was trying to, like, think about, like, okay, beyond that.
Right.
and I just love, like, the iconic screaming of it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and the
When I
design
hear
too
it,
is so different.
yeah, I really like it, and I just, like, it just evokes such, like, a powerful, like, tie. It just makes me think of, you know, everything that's to do with Star Wars, so
Mhm.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think mine's I always liked it as a kid, the Dash Rendar's Outrider. It's very like a Millennium Falcon. It's a
Mhm,
Corellian, like, smuggler's ship kind of
mhm.
thing, but it's, yeah, it's got kind of a different side cockpit that can spin or whatever, and, I like that ship a lot, and they added it in the special edition of Star Wars in A
Oh,
New Hope
sure,
when they're in
sure.
Tatooine. They added that ship leaving port, so I thought
Mhm,
that was cool. Yeah, there, Alan's got a picture of it. So it's
mm.
reminiscent of the Falcon, but different.
Yeah, yep,
Mhm.
yep, I've seen that.
So yeah, um, I wanted to like it's kind of good transition with vehicles and stuff. When you talk about the Tie Fighter and the like iconic sound, part of what some of the celebrations for today. Apple released a video that's
Mhm,
behind the Mac, um, Lucas or Skywalker sound video.
mhm,
It's like 23 minutes long or something like that. And that talks to some of the sound designers and people at Skywalker Ranch, Skywalker Sound, and they talk about the Tie Fighter, and yeah, we've heard many of the stories before about Ben Burt making the different sounds, but they go through some of the different processes of making sound effects, and it's a fun watch if you're into that kind of thing.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, I just started a few minutes of it, and it is very fun. It does kind of remind you of all the work that went into, finding unique sounds that would bring you to the Star Wars galaxy, but
Yep,
that weren't too weird or too out of place or too, like, jarring to take you out of what was happening.
yep, yep. The other thing that happened for May the 4th,
Mhm.
which I wasn't gonna watch, but you posted it.
"Oh,
Yeah,
did I
all right.
made you."
Yeah.
Poke, poke, poke.
Um, the new trailer for the Kenobi series. We had a
Mhm.
little teaser a bit ago. Now this is another trailer.
Mhm.
Um, if you guys are interested, go and watch it. What did you think of it?
I thought it was a good trailer. I
Hmm.
mean, well put together, fast-paced, action-oriented, things are happening, Kenobi's on the run. He's got several different dilemmas. Obviously, one evading capture, by the limited forces that still care enough that he's out there and possibly doing something. Which, by the way, if you're ever an evil organization dude and you're like, rebel fighter, whoever is finished, or our kind of outlier here, what could he do? Never, never ever think that. Like, you go find them and take them down because they're the one person starting the movement that's just going to blow up in your face and take you down. Um, so never be the guy or the girl or the whoever who says, "Oh, what can they do anymore?"
Hmm. Yeah.
Enough, enough.
Right.
Um, yeah. So the trailer was fun, to see that aspect of it, and then also, of course, to see the aspect of Kenobi thinking, you know, I've hidden Luke here on this planet to save him. Now I want to train him in the ways of the Jedi, and Luke's uncle Owen just being like, "Oh, like you trained his father," which is just the sickest burn from a mild-mannered Joel Edgerton that I can ever dream of. It's just so well delivered. Um, so yeah, I thought the trailer was fun. Of course, leaves the mystery alive. We know for the series, apologies if I'm spoiling this for anyone. We know from series information that Hayden Christensen is returning and will be walking around as Vader. Unclear yet. No one has made any comment, and they're being very tight-lipped about. whether or not James Earl Jones will return as the voice of Vader. And of course, the trailer ends on the very iconic, first breaths of Vader inside the suit. The
Yeah. If
I'm not James
if
Earl Jones. I can't do it. So
if James Earl Jones is not back, they should not have
riots,
Vader in here.
riot.
They just shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. However, I do believe it is the right move to not confirm it because it.
Sure. Yeah. That's
I'm
fine.
I'm hooked. I'm intrigued.
Sure.
I'll watch it to see if it's him.
Um, I I'm afraid they're gonna do a. I mean, look, I'm not gonna watch the show, so like
Yeah.
whatever happens, everybody can tell me. But I think that it's a mistake to have Vader confront Kenobi, and if that's gonna happen, if that's gonna be a thing, I don't know that's gonna be a
Yes,
thing.
it is intimated from the trailer, but as we all know, trailers are
Right.
misleading. So
hmm
yeah, very much who
But
knows.
they're almost setting that expectation with this.
Absolutely.
So I think it diminishes the impact of the scene
The
from A New
reconnect.
Hope, right?
Mhm.
So, also, what is Kenobi doing with the blaster in this? That was my thing. Is like that.
Yeah.
I mean, now they could be putting that in there, but they know they're just going to make people mad doing that. So, like, they just trying to make people mad, just trying to make people mad, so it gets talked about more, and then you get I don't know, more views. I guess if that's your strategy,
Potentially.
because I mean, he has the line. It's he's uses it in the prequel trilogies and
Mhm.
in the original trilogy. He like shoots a blaster once in the prequels and tosses it aside. What an
Mhm.
uncivilized weapon.
Yep.
Which is silly, by the way. Just silly. Like a blaster being less civilized than a lightsaber, where you have to like get up in someone's face and do the murdering, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I mean, it's
that's
honorable,
yeah, I was gonna
I
say that's
guess.
part of the point. I think he's using honorable and uncivilized probably
Mhm.
interchangeably.
Yeah. Because plenty of people in like a civilized fashion had their little like duels, their standoffs, 12 paces, turn around and shoot kind of
Which,
thing
I
as
mean, of
well.
course, started off as duels fighting
Right.
via sword.
Right.
Yeah. So,
So,
I mean, yeah, it's the classic, like, evolution of weaponry.
either way, Kenobi has stood by
Yeah.
this. So I don't know what he's doing. I don't I think maybe it'll be good. I just think that the series is um unnecessary. I think the best we got was like there was a Star Wars Visionaries comic number of years ago that kind of told a little short story of what some stuff Kenobi's been up to, and they actually in that have him like reconfront Darth Maul, and
Mm.
later they do this stuff, in the animated series in part. But yeah, I just feel like it's unnecessary. I feel like they're going to. I don't have confidence in it. Whereas Obi-Wan Kenobi is supposed to be this hermit hiding out, and now he's going to be running around dealing with inquisitors, or he's not probably right. Maybe he won't be. He'll be doing
Yeah.
a lot of nothing, which means it's not really about him anyways. It's going to be about the inquisitors.
Well,
Kenobi's
so
just the name draw.
I mean, when we're introduced to him in A New Hope, he's a hermit, but, like, how long does it take for somebody to be a hermit? And how long does Obi-Wan
Sure,
Kenobi live?
sure.
We don't get those specifics.
Yeah,
So, I mean, clearly well, not clearly, I shouldn't say that. Um, it's gotta be decently close to the time that, you know, Kenobi's going into hiding right after the end of the first
yeah,
trilogy
right,
because, he's not Alec Guinness, he's still Ewan McGregor.
right.
So, there's gotta be like a decent
Halfway
time
through the
period.
season, he'll become
Just
Alec
big
Guinness.
switch.
Yeah,
Um, so, I mean, yeah, they say, "Oh, he's a hermit, he's been there, he's a recluse, whatever." But, I mean, really, how long does it take for people to term you that, to start
right.
calling you that? So, while it sort of violates the spirit of that. It doesn't fully, I think,
Mhm.
because we're not having it be like Alec Guinness coming in and having adventures. But yeah, I mean, I do sort of want the series to conclude with, okay, now I'm really actually going into hiding.
Right.
If it doesn't end somehow there, then yes, this is a betrayal of this character because you can't have him running around and be a hermit at the same time.
Should we read what the official guide to
Oh yeah, sure.
characters says
Please, please,
is
please.
supposed to happen here? Um As Darth Vader aligned himself with the self-proclaimed Emperor Palpatine and his new order, Obi-Wan feared for the future of the Republic. He changed his name to Ben Kenobi and moved from the forefront of the Jedi into hidden retirement. He
Can
kept
we pause? Can we pause? The strength of that disguise. They'll
Oh
never
yeah,
find
he's
me
not
as Ben
Obi-Wan,
Kenobi.
he's Ben. Yeah.
I know. I mean, not my
I
ish,
mean,
but
well, and that's why they always just went with it by Ben.
I know.
I
I
just
know.
should Ben
It's
because
just funny. It's
yeah.
just funny.
He kept in contact with Anakin's estranged wife, who, unbeknownst to Vader, was pregnant with twins. So in this,
Mhm.
it's unbeknownst.
Mhm.
Obi-Wan knew the children had tremendous potential as future Jedi.
Mhm.
On the day the twins, Luke and Leia, were born, Kenobi and the Skywalker mother separated them. Leia lived on Alderaan, where she was adopted by Bail Organa.
Mhm.
Obi-Wan took the infant Luke Skywalker to his brother's home on Tatooine, where Owen and Beru Lars promised to raise
Mhm.
children as if they were his aunt and uncle. As if they were his aunt and uncle in this. So,
Wait, read
in
that
this,
sentence again?
yeah. So, um, remember, this is before the prequel movies came out.
Yeah, yeah.
So there were some alterations. Obi-Wan took the infant Luke Skywalker to his brother's home on Tatooine, where Owen and Beru Lars promised to raise the child as if they were his aunt and uncle.
Oh, okay. All right. I think maybe when you first read that you said children instead of child. And I was like,
Okay.
"Wait, wait, 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 wait."
Though the Larses raised Luke well, they lied to
Mhm.
Luke about his father, telling him only that his father had been a great pilot and
Mhm.
later a navigator on a spice freighter.
Mhm.
Ben stayed on Tatooine and watched over Anakin's son. He made a home for himself in the barren and treacherous Jutland wastes at the southwestern edge of the first quadrant near the western Dune Sea. He became known as a crazy wizard and a hermit, appearing infrequently in nearby towns and disappearing almost as quickly as he'd come. Ben knew of the swift destruction of the Jedi Knights at the hands of Vader and Palpatine's Imperial soldiers. He brooded on his great failure with Vader and the havoc the fallen Jedi now wreaked within the Republic and
Mm.
upon the threads of the Force. And yet, Ben stayed in hiding, knowing of Luke's great capacity for the Force and fearing that somehow Vader would find the children. He envisioned Luke as a new hope for the Alliance.
Mm.
And then once Luke was a teenager, Kenobi saved the youngster and his friend Windy when Luke crashed his T-16 Skyhopper in Beggar's Canyon. Ben
Mhm.
tried to give Luke his father's lightsaber, but Owen ran Kenobi off the property, telling him never to return. Um, and then we get into the movies. When Princess Leia Organa was captured by Darth Vader's troops, she programmed a message and the stolen plans of the Death Star and R2-D2's memory banks. And so we go. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So
I mean, pretty light on the details for
yes,
Ben.
hmm
So, I mean, you could
that's why
shoehorn these adventures in there.
that's why people have talked about this for a long time because there is a period of time here. Well, what did he do? Well, he just,
Was a
you know,
wizard.
yeah. Well, you'd imagine you
Your
train in the
friendly
ways
local
of the
wizard.
Force, but it's like you feel the burden of failure. You're hiding out. You're
Yeah.
um, you are powerless to make the changes. You had your chance and you failed. I don't know. Now the best you can do is like hope that a new generation will be there to what. What's that there, Andrea? You gotta go over to yep. Oh, oh, there it's
Ah,
coming.
ah, ay.
Baby Yodes.
Yep, that's right, I forgot. My parents got this for little Everett. It was pretty cute.
Nice.
It was
That's
pretty
cute.
cute. Um, yeah, I mean, it kind of so making this takes away a little bit from the brooding, I'm trying to learn my lessons, figure out what went wrong vibe. Kind of like licking your wounds that I think Obi-Wan needs to go through.
Yep.
It does kind of take away from that, like, I'm brooding on what went wrong.
But a lot of time passes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time. It's
Yeah.
like 20 years. So
So,
he's gonna do stuff.
yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not just gonna, like I said, live in the desert and just pop up like friendly local neighborhood wizard. Um, so I get it. I will probably watch the series. I like Ewan McGregor.
Yep.
I like the idea of this, kinda seeing what he's up to. Um, I really do have to say, I think it's pretty ballsy. I didn't realize this until I read this the other day, that Kenobi is dropping the same day as Stranger Things season 4.
Oh, interesting.
That is
Interesting.
gonna be, I think, an interesting competition to watch.
I haven't been hearing much hype about Stranger Things though.
I
Feel
haven't
like it's been
either.
a while, and are people just like, nah, there's a lot to watch now. Like, will
Right.
the audiences return?
Has it been too long?
Yeah. Will
I
Netflix
mean, is
subscribers come back, or will just more
right.
keep leaving?
Is this what Netflix needs, like, right at this very moment as they're
Yeah.
panicking and, being like, "Oh my god, we lost all these subscribers." Like, I read last week that the layoffs have started.
Yep.
In their moment of crisis, is Stranger Things, riding in to save the day? Or, yeah, is it dead? Did it have its cultural
Drama.
moment? We were all into it, and it was so and I
Yeah.
mean, I really did think it was a great show.
Yeah.
Um is season 4 gonna be the saving force here, or yeah, is it done? It's too late. This
Yeah.
will be, I think, like I said, an interesting test of, old school and new school.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that's Star Wars Day. I've been having fun today. Just relishing in old Star Wars things and different. Like I say, I have a lot of Star Wars books I haven't read yet. That maybe I'll start
Mhm.
reading some or whatever. So,
Sure.
um, yeah, I I think maybe enough time has passed for the last trilogy of movies that I'll be able to start just forgetting about that, enjoying some Star Wars again. Yet,
Sure.
um, so yeah. Read the Thrawn series, Alan says. Yeah, the problem is that's
Mm.
new canon. Um, so I know Timothy
John
Zahn wrote
rejects
it,
the new.
so I'm sure they're well done.
Mm.
Legend version 2. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I'd like to read through. Um, I didn't finish the Heir to the Force like trilogy. I don't think I finished the last book of it, so there's definitely Thrawn books in there that I could read as well. So,
Mhm.
Alan, is that your favorite Star Wars character, Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Mhm.
You brought up him up a number of times before. He's
Mhm.
very cool. I like him a lot. Um, let's get Alan's response here. He is typing. Maybe, not sure. Okay.
An illuminating response.
Yes.
Come on, Alan. Stop being so mysterious.
All right. So yeah, let us know what you think of Star Wars, where it is today, what you did for May the 4th, what you're doing for May the 6th, and yeah, favorite characters and stuff like that. Other
Love it.
news, Cinemacon. What
Mhm.
happened there?
Boy. Well, I promise more than just Olivia Wilde being served with papers from Jason Sudeikis, which has been all over the internet.
What?
So, Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde are in the midst of a divorce, which is, not nasty. It's, from what I understand, fairly amicable.
Okay.
And they're figuring out, all of their separated lives, including how they're going to parent their kids. Um, and Jason Sudeikis had a courier service, serve Olivia Wilde with papers about their custody agreement. I think some fame hungry, young chap or lady, I haven't even seen the clip, I've just seen the aftermath of it, serves Olivia Wilde with the custody agreement papers while she's literally on stage at Cinemacon talking about her new movie that she's directing, possibly also had some producing writing credit. Don't Worry, Darling, with Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, who is her new boyfriend.
Harry Pug, you mean?
Harry Pug, that's right. I misspoke. Sorry, everybody. Harry Pug. So she's literally in the middle of introducing the movie and talking about her experiences on stage, and she's served with papers, which of course the internet immediately was like, "Excuse you? Like this was not
Yeah.
appropriate time for that." And Jason
Yeah.
Sudeikis came out immediately and was like, "No, no, 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 no. That was not my intention. I gave him to the courier service. Had no control. Obviously, if I did, this would be the wrong moment. So sorry, everybody."
That's crazy
Yes, it was quite
and
the buzzy
and
moment for the
hella
internet to
rude.
talk about. Yes. But yeah, it sounds like all parties agree, that, it wasn't intentional. There's no like ill will between each other. But yeah,
Sure.
I'm like I said, I'm sure some delivery person just thought like, hey, 15 minutes of fame, gonna walk out on
Right.
stage and serve Olivia Wilde.
Huh.
So
Crazy.
yeah, so that was some big news, non-movie related at all, that came out of CinemaCon, kind of dominated the conversation for a little bit. Unfortunately, because we do have big movie news that came out of CinemaCon. Good, bad, otherwise, everybody has some thoughts on what happened there. For me, good things. I don't think anybody's surprised by this news, but it's nice to see it officially confirmed. We have a sequel to The Batman that was announced, and both Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves are coming back for this sequel.
There's gonna be, like,
No,
aliens, and it's gonna be the Batmans.
the Batmans.
Yeah.
An interesting premise.
Yep.
If
Mhm.
we're literally talking Batmans. Um, So yeah, good news. I think they're not a shocker, as of course, we've talked about Matt Reeves being given a green light to build his own um kind of
Contained
Batman
world.
world. Yeah.
Mhm.
So not a shocker, but a good thing to see for certain.
Yes.
A couple of other movies announced. We're getting a Quiet Place spinoff, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. I
Different
don't
set
think
of people.
I sure.
Mhm.
Following a side character, perhaps. It is called Day One,
Oh,
so
how it started.
probably an origin
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
We had announced that there's going to be a Mission Impossible 7, also having to do with the number one. The title is Dead Reckoning Part One,
Because I think
so
there's
suggesting
talks
a
that
part two.
maybe 8 is gonna be the last one.
For
So,
Cruise.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, as we know in Hollywood, nothing that dies ever stays dead. So
Right.
we could
Mhm.
be having more Mission Impossibles, just no cruise.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, that was announced.
Which is
And
it worth it
then
without him? Like, those movies are Tom Cruise, like
yeah, but I mean, how many times have you thought like these movies are this, and Hollywood is
oh,
like,
yeah, yeah, they'll do it.
that'll
I'm
prove
just
you
saying,
wrong.
should they do it? Like,
No, I don't think they
you know,
should, but
maybe many years from now, I suppose,
they'll
but
reboot it somehow. Somebody will
yeah.
be in there. And we also got an announcement for Avatar, the next Avatar, which I forgot was a thing. It's apparently being released in December of this year, and we haven't heard anything about it. But yeah, now we know it's called The
Because
Way
no
of
one
Water.
cares.
I mean, I yeah,
No one
I care.
cares.
I care because I was like, that's right, that's a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
forgot when they announced this that they were making an Avatar sequel. I completely forgot about it.
Mhm. I can't believe they're doing this.
I can't
I
believe it's
will
happening.
I will, not literally, but eat crow if these movies do really well.
Yeah, so
Because
so you have up here that there are multiple Avatar sequels that are
yes,
happening.
yes,
5 movies in total. So we're getting 2, 3, 4, 5, all within the next 6 years.
yeah. It's I mean, look, that's fine, but no one cares about Avatar anymore.
It had
And
its
when
moment.
I've seen
It
yeah,
had its
it had
really
exactly.
cool, great moment.
It had its moment, and it had its Star Wars moment because people thought this is what we're gonna usher in 3D.
Mhm.
Oh, wow, this movie is so gorgeous and it's
Right.
so cool in 3D. Well,
Which it
how many
was.
people go to 3D? Right, right. How many people go to 3D movies anymore? I remember
Right.
working at Best Buy at the time, and everybody was trying to push
Mm.
3D televisions. It was the big thing. No one asks to buy a 3D television anymore. It is not a thing.
No, no,
People
no, no,
don't
no,
want to
no,
do
no,
it.
no.
It's a gimmick. So whereas something like Star Wars had its Star Wars moment and changed the pacing of films, the structure of films, the way special effects are done in films,
Right.
and that continued like had an impact on the industry, Avatar didn't. Avatar had its splash of like, here's 3D,
Mm.
and now no one talks about it. And people still discuss, which we do, it's for Star Wars for its content as well as its
Yeah.
impact. No one's like, oh boy, that Avatar. Can you name a single character from Avatar?
Can I name the actors?
No. No, you can't
Jake.
name
Jake
Zoe
Sully.
Saldana. Jake Sully?
That's
Is that
and
that main guy?
only because I can hear Zoe Saldana in my head. Jake! Jake! When
Ah,
she, like, freaks out because he's gonna die.
okay. Okay. Well, you got one. You got one. I prove her wrong.
And I
Everybody
literally just
cares about
said
Avatar.
I don't remember her name in the movie, but I literally just said, "I can hear Zoe Saldana," not
Yeah,
her character,
whoever she is,
whoever that is. Yep.
yeah.
Can't
Mhm.
remember.
I just I had a
Yeah,
fun enough
I can name a
time
bunch of actors, but yeah, no,
watching the
I'm having a
movie.
hard time with the characters.
I can't believe this is something they thought was worth 4 additional sequels.
Yeah, I mean, even 4, like,
They're putting
wow,
the
I
money
can't believe
behind
it.
all this. I
Yeah.
think like I say, I think they're just shooting these back to back. They've been spending years on it. I
They
mean,
should have
maybe it'll
just
be
done it in the
amazing,
first
but
place. You know what I mean? It should have been
yeah,
a Lord of the Rings style, like, you have to release all of these right now or don't do it because it's been so long. It's been
yeah.
too long. I completely forgot about this.
There will be a whole bunch of people that when this one comes out this winter, they'll have no idea what the first one even was.
Yeah.
They'll
I'm
like
gonna have to
they
go back and watch the first one if I watch this.
oh
Make
my
sure I
god.
remember anything.
Avatar released in 2009, so
Holy
that's what Alan posted. So
13 years.
yeah, so there'll be a bunch of kids that will have no idea what this is. They weren't even born then, or they were
Yeah.
born shortly thereafter.
Oh boy. That doesn't make me feel old. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
throw your
yeah,
money at
just
whatever, but
I
I'm just
guess, yeah.
shocked that they're doing it. So
I'm shocked that this is happening. Like I said, I completely forgot about it. And I'm shocked that they're coming back with such a lame title as The Way of Water.
yeah,
It's nothing. Like what
yeah.
I don't get it. And I
Water
don't
can be
The
ferocious,
Way of Water. I don't
calm,
know.
you know? It's almost like
It's
the
lame.
Avatar Last Airbender stuff. Don't they do, like some people bend water and stuff as
Oh yeah,
well?
yeah, yeah.
Or just
Yeah,
confusing the
that's
brands
maybe
more?
that's maybe what's happening right here. Elements. The next one will
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
forging the fire
Mhm. Yep,
because we're going with some, alliteration here.
yep. Mhm, mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, the, inception of ice. Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, look at you go.
Uh,
uh, Evolution of
Anyways,
Earth. I don't
yes.
know. This is, I mean,
We're
honestly,
gonna
this is
yeah,
as good as The Way of Water. So,
yeah,
as,
yep,
as lame as these are coming across,
mhm.
I could
Yeah,
be in
Alan
that
says Captain
title.
Planet.
I
Yeah, this
could
is
be
the
in
new
that title
thing.
room right now.
Mhm. You should be. We're gonna see this. Call us up.
So Avatar rounded out the movies, the kind of the big movies. There were others that we had announced at Cinemacon. Cinemacon also showed us some sneak peeks and trailers for movies that are coming out. We saw trailers for, like I talked about before, Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry Darling. Trailers for Margot Robbie playing the titular character in Barbie, because
Right.
apparently Mattel is getting like a whole slew of toy-based movies that are happening. I find this
Yeah.
very weird.
Mhm.
Barbie is like, I guess, the most plausible of the ones that have been suggested, so interesting. Also, there's a powerhouse cast that I cannot remember all the names, but I looked at and we're like, wow, like real legit people in here.
Yeah.
So possibly interesting.
Okay.
We got some sneak peeks at the Borderlands movie, which we got a lot of cast photos from the Borderlands movies, and people are generally reacting pretty positively to that.
Okay.
We got some sneak peeks at John Wick Chapter 4, as well as The Flash, which confirmed, spoiler alert, not really spoiler, but spoiler if you haven't heard it, that Michael Keaton will be for sure returning as Batman.
Okay.
So
The thing
that's
we all
confirmed
knew, but
happening.
confirmed, yeah.
Right, right. Double confirm he's there in the flesh. And also, of course, as we've talked a lot about this over the past couple of weeks, the Flash was introduced without any kind of reference to Ezra Miller and any of his legal issues. They just sort of like breezed right on by, not going to talk about it, which I don't know. I guess if they don't have a statement, fine, but
Yeah.
get one, please. I'm still looking for that. And then we did also two of these, of course, seemed particularly relevant, but there were full screenings for a couple of shows, a couple of movies. One being The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke, who is very, of course, hot right now because he's
Yeah,
starring
he is.
in Marvel's Moon Knight. I mean, he's hot always,
And the
but
Northman.
and The Northman. Yep. And then we finally got a full look at the sequel that's been years in the making, Top Gun Maverick,
Yeah, we
which
can't complain
again,
about Avatar, right? That was only
right, right,
2009.
forever.
This is like
You want to talk real
80,
wait for the
yeah, what?
sequel? Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, which yeah, I checked out a lot of the people who have seen it on social media, and they're just giddy as can be with how this turned out. So initial reviews look really, really positive,
Okay.
which is kind of shocking to me. Um,
Sure.
I don't know, but yeah, if it lives up to the hype, I'm excited to go check it out.
I mean, to me anyways, and like he's a weird guy, but I can't think of a movie in the last couple of decades that Tom Cruise has made that wasn't good. There's probably
Mm,
something, and some people might enjoy one thing more or less,
I
but
I wasn't a fan of Vanilla Sky.
okay. Okay. And that's probably getting on like 25 years old or something.
Yeah, I
But
guess I have no idea. I have no reference for how old that is.
yeah, I remember enjoying it, but 2001, Alan says. Okay. All
Okay.
right. So yeah, we're over the 20-year mark.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't a particular favorite of mine.
He just makes good stuff
He does.
these
He
days,
does.
like people criticize him for being crazy, and they'll criticize him for like maybe not always playing characters that are different enough at times, or like having
What?
type. Oh, the Mummy. That's a good one,
Ooh,
Alan.
bad.
That's the
Yes.
one. Yep.
Bad.
I
Bad.
haven't seen it, but
Yes.
I've just heard that's the one.
I have not
Yep.
seen the full thing, full disclosure. I have
Okay.
seen pieces. It's not good.
Ugh,
It is not.
what do you expect? You do more Mummy, you get Brendan Fraser back. Come on.
Right. I was gonna say this disappointed me in a very different way than the final Mummy in the Mummy trilogy did.
Mhm.
Because you can't recast Rachel Weisz. You just can't do it and replace her with Maria Bello, even though Maria Bello's great. Can't do it.
Yeah, it was too
Like
different. It was too
it's
different.
yeah, just get her out of there if that's gonna happen. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is the Mummy.
Which is too bad because it was a
His
good
was the
idea.
princess one, right?
Oh, Princess one? What?
His mummy was the mummy was the
Oh, that sounds
princess,
right. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yes, thank you. Yep, thank you, Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, it
Yeah,
was
Tomb of
supposed
the
to
Dragon Emperor
kickstart
was the last Brendan Fraser one. Yeah, yeah.
it was supposed to kickstart the whole, like, bringing back the classic monster movies for Universal.
Yep, I
So that's
remember
a
that.
cool idea, because then it was, like,
Yeah.
Russell Crowe in there, I think he was, like, Jekyll and Hyde or something, and so, yeah, they were gonna do
Mhm.
but, yeah, didn't work out. I guess the
It
video
did
game is very
not.
good, actually. There's a video game for this,
Sure.
and, people like that. So,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
I'm
I can buy
excited.
that.
Top Gun Maverick is looking good. People think I remember seeing the trailer for the first time, I think, behind, the last Mission Impossible movie or something, and thought,
Mhm.
"Wow, the camera work, like, this just looks so cool the way it's shot."
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the original one, I suppose.
Absolutely.
But are you a big fan of the Mission Impossible movies? And we talked about that earlier, the
Yeah,
announcement. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think they're
Absolutely.
pretty consistent.
They are. They are. I mean, they're not always, there are certain ones that are better than others, and they're not
Mhm.
always like perfect gems, but they're always solid.
Yeah. Yep.
I
There's
don't I don't think there's like the highs and lows quite when I think of like the James Bond franchise.
no, no, and obviously there's not as
There's
many, but it's like kind of
right.
quantity versus quality.
Right, exactly. And I mean, there is something to be said about like consistently sticking with one main actor. Um
Mhm.
versus like how do I compare different actors who have taken on this role and their subsequent movies and how writing teams can try to adapt to an actor playing that role.
Yep.
So there's obviously different things to be said about that, but yeah, I think that they've been pretty consistent good spy movies.
I think Rogue Nation is the one, number 5, that is not as good for me. Um, but
Is
what I
that
thought,
is that the one before or after Ghost Protocol?
it's, right after.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Um, I like that it introduces Rebecca Ferguson's character,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, not as good of a conclusion and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But
Agreed.
Mission
Agreed.
Impossible Fallout with Henry Cavill, good, really
Hmm.
good. Ghost Protocol, really good. Mission Impossible
Loved
3, for
Ghost
whatever reason, the
Protocol.
first time I watched it, I didn't love it, but I
I
think
don't think
that's J.J. Abrams' best movie that I've
I
seen, honestly.
yeah, I don't think that I don't know if I was very distracted when I was watching it because I had the same reaction. Like I watched it, was like,
Yeah,
okay, and then went
mhm.
back and rewatched it, was like, oh,
On
what did
the
I
edge of
miss
my seat,
here? Yeah, yeah. I
like,
clearly just I don't know if my brain wasn't turned on for that, but yeah, went back on a rewatch and it was excellent.
and what an interesting thing, like, Metacritic score, the first one gets a 59. The 6th
Really?
one has an 86. Like,
Wow.
this is a series that from 1996 to 2018,
Yeah,
Metacritic-wise,
has
has
improved.
gotten better with every film.
Yeah.
The first one and the second one were tied at 59, but then we went
Nice. Yeah.
66, 73, 75, 86. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So,
Well, good job, Mission Impossible team.
I know, right? Yep. So yeah. All right. Well, if I've ever seen a movie that could be adapted into a video game, it'd be Mission Impossible. Seems torn right out of the pages of video game. There was a Mission Impossible video game, I think back on the original PlayStation, but
Really?
yeah. Anyways,
Apparently didn't catch on.
no, no, it didn't. There was enough other spy things, I guess.
Sure.
So, oh, Alan says he owns the Nintendo 64 game. So yeah, there must have been
Oh,
a
okay.
copy on there too.
Fun.
Xbox and Bethesda have announced now that I mean
Mhm.
one and the same, but they're going to be talking specifically about. I guess they're big enough; they're going to lump them in here. June 12th is now
Yep.
their showcase that they're going to be doing. So that's noon Central Time,
Mhm.
June 12th. So nothing much more to say there, really, other than it's kind of the first showcase we have announced of the E3 time period. No, E3 is not happening. Presumably, everybody's going to kind of set up their own thing.
Mhm.
This is the first big one we've got. So, yes, excited there.
Yeah.
And then this came as a pretty big surprise. There were murmurings, utterances that Square Enix might sell off some of their Western studios. They've talked
Mhm.
about that before. They had industry insiders had talked about that. Whatever, it's a rumor.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like that's happening. So, Embracer Group, which is this like Nordic um, company that has basically been gobbling up tons of studios.
Mhm.
I don't know what their number is to now. It's like over 40 or something. It's an insane amount that they're bringing under this umbrella.
Mhm.
And so they've purchased Eidos Montreal or whatever, Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix Montreal and their IP.
Yeah.
So that includes, Tomb Raider and Gex and Deus Ex and
Mhm.
um, Legacy of Kain and a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, these companies have been around for years working on stuff. So, um, yeah, I think the price was 300 million, which I think
Yeah.
people thought was kind of low, surprisingly or whatever.
Yeah, it seems
And
even lower considering, like, the recent gaming deals that have gone through.
yeah, it's interesting that I don't know. It's just surprising that Embracer's the one that got him
Yeah.
because I would have felt like you know people would have felt nice about Tomb Raider being home again on
Mhm.
PlayStation.
For
Sony had
sure.
scooped them up, being they already lost Crash Bandicoot to their competition.
Right.
And then at the same time, Microsoft is working with Crystal Dynamics to make their Perfect Dark game.
Oh.
So Microsoft created a studio called shoot. Um, I can't think what it's called. They created from the ground up a new studio.
Mhm.
They had some people leave or whatever, but their project was Perfect Dark. And then last year they announced that they were going to be bringing in their friends at Crystal Dynamics to help work on this and bring Perfect Dark to the modern era.
Sure. Okay.
So I don't know. A lot of people thought maybe that'd be kind of a test run almost. The initiative, yes, thank you, Alan.
Mhm.
That was the name of the company. Thought maybe be a test run that if they work well together, that they would then offer to buy from Square Enix Crystal
Mm.
Dynamics because Square Enix has been unhappy with the performance of Crystal Dynamics and yeah, some of these other Western studios. They're
Mhm.
responsible for the Avengers game. Last Tomb Raider game didn't do as well, and then Guardians of the Galaxy, though people loved it, didn't do as well sales wise, I guess.
Mhm.
So some of these things are like,
Sure.
well, we're just gonna get rid of them. But I don't know. I'm just surprised that Embracer Group got them. But There it is.
Yeah, I like kind of like that you can see like pretty much all of this deal that's happening here. To kind of lay everything out
Yeah. And
about like all the releases and things and IP that they're getting and how a little background on each of the studios. Founded in or yeah, founded in 92, 2007, 2011.
sure.
Pretty, I mean, not old, but kind of old.
Yeah. hmm Video game wise, video games
Yeah.
still a relatively new thing in a way. So yeah, the consolidation of the video game industry continues forward. One more,
Yes.
one more thing.
Continues
So
to pace.
yep, yeah. That's about it. I don't have much more to say about it other than it happened. So
Yeah. I mean,
um,
we'll see what happens next. I mean, I think any company that's, buying another, yeah, they've just now got to prove like why this was a good deal and what they're going to do together, you
mhm,
know. I mean, obviously Xbox and Bethesda having an event makes you think like, yeah, let's see what's coming out of this,
mhm, yep,
Let's see what's coming out of, why you had to acquire, what you're going to do next, like, you made the big move, now prove why it was good.
yeah. Microsoft has a lot to prove. I mean, on their
They have
end
a
for sure, they have
lot,
a lot
yeah.
to prove
Yeah, I
because
agree.
not much has come out of this yet. Really, all their acquisitions, which
Yeah.
makes sense. It takes time or whatever, but yeah,
Yeah, I think they've spent a lot of time reassuring people about, things that are current, okay, well, we're not making this like Xbox exclusive right now, you can still have
right,
this whatever game you thought you were going to have access to, blah blah blah. That's fine, address what's currently happening, like sort out that mess now, like let's get to looking to the future.
yeah, yeah. All right, that's our show, guys. That's it.
Looking to the future.
Yeah, looking to the
What a
future.
what a positive note to end on. That's so different for
That's
us.
right. Hey, we have positive notes sometimes. I I was like, I'm gonna come on here and shock everybody. I'm gonna be talking so positive about Star Wars because
Look at you.
yeah, just I can't let the
Must
you
be
know
uh must be the influence of all those cough drop rappers.
yeah, right. hmm
Those
Just consuming lots of microplastics and it's just helping me out a lot.
little
Yeah.
inspirational sayings just pumping you
Oh.
up to
hmm
talk nice.
yeah. Yeah. Love Star Wars. It says that's right. Love Star Wars. hmm
You gotta do what the rapper says.
Yep. So, anyways, that's Popcast on the Rocks, episode 105. We'll
Mhm.
be back before you know it, talking about Moon Knight, the last two episodes. We'll wrap up that series and see how everything concluded there. I have not seen either of the last two episodes,
Same.
so um,
Should be
I'll get
fun.
that done shortly. And in the meantime, everybody should follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, um, Twitch, all those places. Leave comments, subscribe, like, share, all that sort of thing. That helps a lot. If you're a podcast listener only, that's fine. We got lots of podcast directories that we are available on. Whatever your choice is, please leave us a review. That'd be helpful. Spotify gives you the option to watch our video and as well if you're not watching on YouTube, that's fine. So take your pick. Anyways, that'll be it from us. And Andrea, thanks as always for joining me.
Of course. Cheers, everybody.
You got a second cocktail.